the more you tell them be here, be there, be there, be there, they don't really have to think. They just line up, I got to be here at 1, I got to be there at 1:30. So I think it allows them to be more comfortable. The less discipline you give them, the harder I think it is with all the social pulls, with all the instant access. I think it's harder for them to have a complete day for the average 18-year-old. You know, so I think the discipline, the structure helps these kids more than anything. No problem.
When you got here and you saw what your hand was in the secondary, what did you think?
If I go back to the spring, I thought I had a group of guys that were raw, but had ability and talent. I saw a group that needed an overhaul of just basic fundamentals and technique, but I saw a group that had a lot of want to. I saw a group that thought they wanted to be great. They just really, truly didn't know how to be great. But I saw a spirit in them. Now I saw some resistance too. I saw some resistance to change. I saw some resistance to doing the way that I wanted it to be done. And one of the first things I tell them is, there's a standard and I will never come off my standard. So if you never get to it, you'll just be standing next to me on the sideline. And I've never wavered. We defensively have never wavered off that standard. What we do is something I believe in, and I'm not going to change that. So for those guys, the resistant ones fell to the bottom of the depth chart. The ones that embraced change and worked their butt offs rose to the depth chart. And over time, it all balanced out. So I got here, I didn't think it was bare. I didn't think I had a lack of or void of talent. I just thought there was going to be a long road of doing it the right way.
How much of the resistance was your method, your approach, some of the techniques that you teach, and how much of it was the 4-3, the switch, and how much of it was a combination of the two?
The 4-3 switch didn't matter for the secondary. Structure-wise, we still play with 4 DBs or 5 in nickel.
Well, let me interrupt you. I asked that because a couple of the guys have said the change has taken some pressure off of them because they have so much more confidence in the front seven. They don't feel like they have to cheat sometimes and get out of position, which happened sometimes last year.
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with the front. Whether you got number 1 by yourself or with 5-man rush doesn't matter. I think a lot of resistance was they had been used to doing it a certain way. And I just kept going back to them saying, just tell me what has that gotten you. Tell me what has gotten you, because I want to make you great. I want to make this defense great, this team great, the system Coach Chizik has, the scheme we're going to use. It works, but you got to buy in. And I think the resistance was more because it wasn't easy. What I'm asking those guys to do is not easy, and it takes a lot of time. It takes breaking down some old habits. And I think initially, when you don't have success in it, and let's say practice 3 you got beat deep in the spring, you mean say, well, this ain't working. Well, no. You're not executing it the way I'm asking you to execute, so therefore it's not going to work. But we're not going to go backwards to what you used to do. So when that happened, guys fell down the depth chart. As they embraced it, kids are funny. As soon as they start having success with it, now it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But they got to learn and see it to believe in. We told them when we got here, don't trust us. Don't. Let's work through this, and then we'll gain the trust over time. So I didn't expect them to trust me. I just expect them to do what I asked them to do.
So Mike Hughes comes in without the advantage of being here in the spring, which he originally thought he was going to. He comes in basically the end of July, 1st of August, and he's caught up with a lot of guys in a lot of ways, and he's got 40-something snaps the other day.
Right.
How has he been able to catch on and adapt? And maybe he didn't have the trust issues, the bad habits that some of the other guys had?
You think about it, he's a guy that played quarterback in high school. So everything I say to him is gold. He don't know. So if I tell him to step this way, he soaks it up like a sponge. There is no resistance in his mind because he don't know any better. So I think when you take that raw piece of clay, you can mold it however you want. But when it's a little old and a little stiff, it's a little harder to mold that clay. But to these guys' credit, though, all of them have bought in. Every last one of them. It's been difficult. It's been a long road. There's been some tears. There's been some battles. But they've all bought in, and not one time were they disrespectful and told me they didn't want to. I just saw it in their body demeanor. So I think over time, a guy like Mike coming in without any preconceived notion of how to play corner, he just soaks it up. Whereas maybe an older guy that's been here 2 or 3 years, it's hard to break old habits. It is, and I told him that. It's going to be hard to trust in everything I say and do it all the time. But they're having some success with it. They're building confidence with it.
Donnie Miles played the Ram last year, and as Coach Fedora explained the other day, he was a lot closer to the box. He had to be a lot more physical than he needs to be or requires most safeties. However, he's been very physical for 3 games. He's hitting straight on, and he said that playing Ram has made him a better safety because A, he can see the field better, so he feels like he's more in control of what's going on. And the second part is the physicality, and he believes that's made him a better player.
Yeah, I don't know much about that position he played, but I know he was a box guy. So whenever you're a box guy, you got to have a physical mentality. So what that brings him as a tackler is now doing it with 15 yards of space in front of you, which he's worked on those fundamentals. But at the point of contact, there is no doubt he has full confidence in his ability to go tackle somebody. And again, everything we talk about is a mentality, is a confidence builder, is a swagger. So he knows physically he can go hit a dude and he goes down. We had to get him from 15 yards away. Can you make the play in space by coming to balance, near foot, and then attacking the right hip and tracking the football? So that's the part he's really worked on. But playing that other 8-man box position allowed him to build a physical presence and just confidence. If there's a 225-pound back, he's going to go hit him because he's not afraid of that.
MJ Stewart's made some plays. It looks like just everything in his game is so much better than it was a year ago.
Fundamentally sound. He's one of the guys that bought in from day one. He works on it all the time. It's really, really important to him, and he's a competitor. I mean, he goes at one speed. He's sharp. He picks up the scheme. He's able to play. He plays our nickel, our corner, our dime. He just a guy that's trying to build himself into an all-around great football player. Got a long way to go, but I like the progress he's made so far.
Des Lawrence had that big pass breakup, and that
Yep.
was it the fourth down play?
It was a play before the fourth.
Yeah, the third down play, and that kind of helped set a tone. And it looks like this group is starting to gain the confidence that even if they bend a little bit, they know how to man up and not break.
That's right. The one thing we talk about is the DB next play. They're going to complete some balls. They're going to make some catches, but it can't really. We can't have something bad happen to us. We can't have adversity happen and go in the tank. And we can't have adversity happen and we go back to some old bad fundamentals that's going to make things worse, taking chances. Believe in the scheme and believe in each other and just do your job. Main thing we talk about, stay in your lane. I don't need you trying to do anybody else's job but your own. Because the minute you try to do someone else's job, you get beat deep. So I don't care what's going on around you. I don't care if they catch 8 passes in a row. As long as on the 9th one, you do your job, that's all I really care about.
Last question, I'm going to go back to tackling. What did you have to teach the most? Was it technique? Was it the angles? What angle to take? Was it the fact that they were so out of position last year? If they learned what you wanted, they wouldn't be so out of position this year?
One, it was a mentality of getting 11 hands to the ball. No matter what's going on, everybody's running to the ball and running to it with the correct tracking angles. Okay, so that was the first thing, is how to track the ball, which hip to attack, the outside hip or the inside hip based on where the ball carrier is. And then it's the physicality part. There was a joke in the spring that all we do at DB is hit all day. Well, we hit all day because it has to be a mentality. You have to believe that you have to be the most physical dude on the field. No matter if you're a 160-pound corner or a 215-pound safety, you are the most physical presence on the field. Until you feel that confidence, you're never going to be a great tackler. So these guys have bought into the tracking, the angles, and then the physical part of just hitting a guy.
Very cool.